Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Well,
Oh, God.
good start. Welcome to episode 2 of
Sister.
We're a bit giddy today. We've been doing a socially distanced photo shoot for Amy's masks.
Yep. Definitely in needed of some new updated pictures.
Yeah.
Because I'm not the greatest model. Actually, I'm absolutely horrendous.
No, you're not. I think it was we just needed good lighting and a good location.
Yeah, definitely.
So basically, we had a really great response from our first podcast, and we're really grateful and we really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
And what we want to do now, going forward, is we want to explore our topics with more depth. We want to go in on really, specific areas of the things that we enjoy and that we do. So, Amy's popular.
Turn that off.
So we wanted to talk today about inspiration.
Inspiration.
You know when SpongeBob goes, imagination.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about inspiration. We want to talk about what inspires us as businesswomen and as creatives, but also in our personal lives.
Mm-hmm.
Amy, you're the type of person that you just get inspired like that on the spot, don't you, by loads of different things?
Yeah, it's both a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
So I'll be going more into detail about that.
Yeah, because Amy will one day be like, guys, I think I'm gonna move to Ibiza and be a DJ. And we'll be like, I'm sorry, what? And it's because someone has inspired her to pursue that goal that she has of being a DJ.
Yeah, I mean, at the minute it's going to be in my head and probably in my head forever.
Yeah.
But, once we do get out there, you never know. You never know what's going to happen.
So what's inspiring you in terms of fashion at the moment? I know you're working with denim.
Yeah. So at the moment, I'm really interested in sustainability and how we're going to bring that into fashion, because as everyone knows, fashion's one of the most polluting and, one of the most polluting industries that there is. But at the same time, it is one of the largest industries, so it employs the most people. I don't have facts and figures because, don't remember that kind of thing. But, yeah, I mean, sustainability is really big, and it is one of the things now where it has got to the point that it is a must. If you're a fashion designer, then you need to be sustainable. We don't really have much choice anymore. So it can get very frustrating at the lack of a lot of education in younger people, and how that they just aren't educated on sustainability and how damaging out of the way we shop and the way, online shopping and fast fashion, it's called.
Yeah.
So fast fashion, say Boohoo, Pretty Little Thing, Misguided, Zara, all them kind of brands are really, really bad for the environment. And I mean, quite a lot are now trying to be more sustainable. So like Zara's got a conscious line, H&M have got a H&M conscious. But it's just about educating educating consumers with the fabrics that we use and the way that we buy fashion. So yes, sustainability. So that is really inspiring. Like today I was kind of mooching at a lot of different designers and having a look for my own kind of personal education. I mean, Stella McCartney, she's the main sort of fashion sustainable designer.
Okay.
So it's really interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so at the minute I'm kind of playing with a lot of denim, and I'm trying to build in a lot of upcycling, so seeing what I can do with materials that already exist. And then my inspiration for that kind of comes from anything really. I mean, because I'm creative, I always have like an itch to do sort of fabric manipulations and go and seeing what I can do to fabrics and how can I make them different. And inspiration for that comes from anything really. I could be watching a film and it'll just spark ideas off in my head of what I can make and what interests me, and then it's all about learning the fashion design process then, and how I incorporate that into my collections and my ranges.
Yeah.
But like from a face mask, for example, like I just get inspired by going into a fabric shop. So I'll just be like, I'm a little bit of a magpie as well, as you know. So, you know, I'll see a glitter fabric and be like, oh my goodness, I want that. And the sequin one, oh my god, sequins, oh, okay. So yeah, I think
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. And we were saying as well, it doesn't even need to be fashion that inspires fashion.
no,
Like,
no.
it can be, like you said, film that then inspires fashion. It could be nature that then inspires fashion.
Yeah.
And it's the same with music. Like, I'm very much the same. We watched Little Women and Joe March. Then I watched that film and was so impacted by how strong she was and how courageous she was, that I was like, right, I want headshots. I want new headshots.
Yeah.
And I want to look fierce in them.
Yeah.
Because that is the type of woman that I would love to play on screen or on stage. And you take it with you. You take elements of things, like it might be someone's character that you think, I'm going to put that into my singing, and I'm going to sing this as if Joe was singing it.
Yeah.
And it changes the way it sounds. And it's the same with fashion. You know, you can just take elements of things.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
yeah.
I think like most of the designers are inspired, a lot of it not by fashion. So some will like be really inspired by fashion history. So you'll see in collections corsets and I don't know, throwbacks to maybe Edwardian fashion and Victorian fashion, but you most of the time they're inspired by something completely non-fashion. Like Vivienne Westwood, for example, she did a collection many moons ago inspired by pirates. So all of you've got the fashion that they wear, the lifestyle, and Alexander McQueen, who's another big influencer on my fashion, he was inspired by sort of issues. I mean, quite a lot of the fashion designers bring in political issues, and as you know, Vivienne Westwood's really kind of climate change, and she's really passionate about it, and protests and all that kind of thing. So it is interesting, the different areas that people bring in, and a lot of people don't know, because if you're not into fashion, you don't really tend to read up on things. And I mean, like, you probably don't know who's just launched collections.
No,
and stuff.
And all of the fast fashion brands you listed, I literally shop from them.
Exactly.
Like, I have a Zara order on its way to me as we speak. You know, you just, people don't know.
No, and I mean, that's only been recent. I mean, fast fashion. Oh, what was I reading? I should really start making facts and writing notes down for next time, but I will start doing that. But it's only been going, it's really, I don't know if it's the 90s that it kind of came into play.
Right.
It may not have been that late, but that early even. But like, it's just incredible. People, if you're not from a fashion background, then you basically, you're not going to get that education. You're not going to get it from shopping in places, like I said, like Zara, places like that.
Yeah. And you see a lot of, I mean, I've noticed it, when you shop at places like Zara and Bershka and Pull and Bear, they have the same labels. Yeah. And it makes you, I mean, you've said when I've spoke to you about it that they're probably from the same warehouse.
Yeah, a lot of the times they are. So even Primark, you can get a lot of, obviously, because all of the clothes are made overseas. So it'll be in like Bangladesh, Turkey, China, all that kind of places. Yeah. And most of the time in the same factories you will have like jeans being made for Primark, jeans being made for Topshop. Yeah. Maybe not Topshop anymore, but I think ASOS have bought that, have they? Or is it Boohoo? Is it ASOS?
I don't know. I did hear on the radio though that they're online now.
Yeah, I think it might have been Boohoo that have bought them.
Right.
So they've but yeah, they're all the same factories, and you're basically just paying for the label.
Yeah. Well, funnily enough though, I saw on Facebook, I think it was Boohoo had slipped up and they hadn't photoshopped out a Pretty Little Thing label in one of their clothes.
You're
I think those were who the two brands were. But yeah, and they hadn't photoshopped it out, and people were commenting like, "Ooh, whoops."
That is bad.
You know, so they're selling the same clothes,
They
and
sell
they're
them and
literally
they
just
copy.
like,
They basically copy. I mean, like I said, I did when I was doing my fashion at college. I had a placement, and I basically had a placement. I think they've closed down now, and I won't name names or whatever, but they essentially were going to other retail stores that were their competitors, buying blouses and whatnot, and then they'd just come back, photograph them and copy them,
yeah,
and then take them back, and then just peddle them out under their name.
yeah,
So it's really sad, and it's
and they're priced differently as well.
yeah, exactly.
Like Pretty Little Thing is more expensive than Boohoo.
Is it?
Yeah, mostly, yeah.
Right.
Which is crazy. So you're paying more for something that's the same thing, and they've literally just swapped out the label, or it's been manufactured by the same person.
It's just crazy. It really is. And
Yeah.
It's just a minefield. Like the amount of stuff that you can go into for it, and
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's where I'm kind of
Interesting.
hopefully launching my clothing line soon. And like I said, sustainability is a real. It's a necessity now, and
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see how these brands will, kind of adapt.
Yeah.
And what will happen, and whether it'll be limited edition stuff, or
Yeah.
it'll be they'll start making upcycle clothing, or
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. But it's like we were saying when we were talking about your masks, because your masks are luxury. Like the quality is just unlike any mask I've seen, like anywhere. And you had some customers give you feedback and say the prices are too high.
Yeah.
And it got us talking about how when places like Primark exist, there are always going to be people that would rather just go there because they don't want to spend money, they don't want to invest in good quality, sustainable, ethical things.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's I kind of get it though, because it's like I said, if I can go and buy something that's cheap, and it's one of them. It's sort of swings and roundabouts. It's like they want to invest in things, but at the same time, people just aren't educated to the point where they've literally not got someone in front of them going, feel my Primark, feel mine, and then feel Primark's. Can you tell the difference?
Yeah.
Without that, then you just never know. And especially during like lockdown, it's so hard to educate people to show that you've got this higher quality.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
bit of a minefield again.
Yeah, but I think once people experience it, they don't want the cheap thing after that. Like for me personally, through my like evolution of fashion, you do, once you start earning a bit more money and you're able to buy more expensive things, you understand then that, oh yeah, I know now that this is better.
Yeah.
It's whether it's shoes, it's comfier, it doesn't wear as fast.
Yeah.
And you just evolve, and you realize that actually the smarter thing to do in the long term is to get something that's a higher quality and it's ethical. And hopefully more people just need to come around to that way of thinking.
Yeah, I think that's what it's about, and I think that's definitely built into sort of your business model, and that going forward, that'll be something that I'll be looking at, and probably going into more detail.
Quantity, isn't it? No, sorry.
Quality versus
not
quantity.
Yeah. And it's the same in any area, like being a performer and posting content online. I remember I reached a point last year where motivation and inspiration was just running really low, and I was confiding in my friend, and my friend was like, take a break then, because people would rather have genuine, authentic inspiration than someone who is just desperate to post and there's no true inspiration behind it, because people can see through that. So if I'm putting myself under loads of deadlines, okay, I need to do a tutorial today, I need to have a new song recorded by tomorrow, and and I'm actually not authentically, genuinely inspired to do any of that, it reads, and people will see that the work isn't truly, my heart's not in it, because I'm forcing myself to do it.
Yeah.
So I think that's that's something for me, like to stay inspired, because then everything you produce, it has that behind it. It has that sparkle that comes from.
And that's it. And people know when you're not genuine.
Yeah.
They just know straight away. They're like, oh, she's trying too hard, or
Yeah.
you know, there's something there.
Yeah.
But even with your industry, you know, it kind of, you could kind of bring it round to looking at like Boohoo, Zara and that, but more in like looking at your competitors and who teaches and people, you know, you kind of get what you pay for in that aspect of, you know, you obviously you charge per the hour and you've got your education, blah blah blah, so they'll pay you for your prices.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's important for me, because that is the service I offer, for me to stay inspired. Because when I'm teaching someone, I ideally want to be the person that inspires them, because I'm their coach, and I want them to leave the session and be like, yeah, you know, I couldn't sing that song when I first started, and now I can. I feel really inspired. And if I'm not feeling that myself, I think it's really hard to project that onto other people. So yeah, I feel like the product I give out is the best when I'm inspired and when I've got ideas. And there's a lot of actually successful people in the entertainment industry that their stories are really inspiring, and how long it took them to get where they are. Like Lady Gaga is actually one of my biggest inspirations.
Oh yeah, I've read her.
Yeah, and she got turned away so many times by record labels because of the way she looked, you know, just because of all sorts of different things. And you know, look at where she is now. And there's so many people exactly like her. You know, actors that didn't get their first big feature film until they were 40. You know, Judi Dench, who didn't get into drama school until her 9th try auditioning.
Oh really?
Yeah, and that's inspiring, because you know, without failure, you know, you don't get to where you need to go.
Need to be.
And I think failure, it doesn't necessarily mean, okay, that's the end. You know, sometimes you have to fail and fail and fail again, and use it to have that fire just ignited.
Yeah, I think so.
And I think looking at people who have done that and used that failure to be so driven and to be relentless in pursuing exactly what it is that they want, that's really inspiring.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I've had so many auditions where you're given so much material and you spent days learning it all. You get there on the day, you're waiting around about 3 hours to even be seen, and then you finally get into the room, you sing 32 bars of a song, and they're like, okay, great, that's it.
Oh no.
And they don't say anything.
Deadpan kind of, you know.
Yeah, literally, okay, great, thanks.
Oh.
And you don't know whether to ask, okay, is that a yes? Do I stay? Or am I off?
Right.
And so you know, it's, and then you walk away and it really takes a toll.
Yeah. You definitely have to cope with a lot, don't you? Like a lot of rejection.
A lot of rejection, yeah. But you have to remember that the rejection isn't necessarily, the rejection isn't you're not talented, that's why you don't have this job, because everyone is talented.
Yeah, exactly.
It's usually something really specific. You know,
but it's like you don't look the right way or something like that.
It could just be like someone else walked in 10 minutes ago and they just embodied, they were that character. And I can't see anyone else playing that role now because I've seen that person do it. And you know, we've all seen movies where you've seen someone play it and think no one else could play Iron Man the way Robert Downey Jr. played Iron Man.
No chance.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, imagine me or you going in after someone like that, you know, and it doesn't necessarily mean that we're not good at the role. It just means sometimes someone else was the perfect fit.
Yeah.
You know, or they might see you for something else, or it just might not be your time. But whatever it is, you can't let it affect you personally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's just a part of it. It's a part of the process.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's having those people and those stories to go and look at, to pick yourself up afterwards.
Yeah, definitely.
You know? And I've been speaking to a friend as well recently, who is really, really driven, and yeah, he is like a very inspiring person. And we've just been talking about how when you want something, if you set your mind to it, it's really powerful. And there's a lot of people that don't take on big ideas and big dreams because they just think, oh, I'll never do that.
You never get there.
Yeah. But
Well, that's
actually, you know, if you're really like fearless and you just go for something, and yep, you may get knocked back, you know, but if you keep going, you'll get there.
You'll get there in the
Why
end.
not?
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
yeah, his name's Reese Byer, by the way. He might be listening, he might not, but he was in my year at drama school, and he dropped out. Like he didn't complete the year because he already knew what he wanted,
Right.
and he didn't fit the mold of drama school,
Right.
and ever since then he's been in, you know, West End shows, he's been in Thriller,
Oh my goodness.
he's
That's
done all
amazing.
sorts of things, and now he's a musician in his own right. And that, I think that is what he always wanted. He always wanted to be Reese,
Right.
you know, rather than the character of whatever musical he was in at the time. And he's really inspiring, so shout out to Reese if you're listening. That's like one of my recent inspirations, someone who close by has been like holding me accountable and asking me, what do you want and how are you gonna get it? I'm
just trying to think if there's any more I have at the minute. I think for me as well, it's really inspiring to see other business owners, so other people kind of they may not be doing necessarily what I'm doing exactly the same, but just the whole kind of community, and I felt it was really nice because there was a group on Instagram that I follow. It's like a little, I say little, they've got about 8,000 followers, but they're like handmade, and they're really up on small businesses and handmade items.
Okay.
And they arranged this really nice Valentine's Day gift swap.
Oh.
So they were doing it, and I was too late to apply, but all the people that applied are business owners, and they basically just all swapped gifts for Valentine's Day. And I thought that was really nice, and that kind of thing really inspires you because it kind of makes you realise that you're not alone, and you can, you know, gives you a bit of a G up, and you can have a look who else has done it, and find other business owners that can support you. So I think that's really inspiring, but I'm struggling.
So I mean, I don't know about you, but I also have certain videos that I go to when I'm lacking in. I mean, with singing, I have artists whose, you know, it might be like the style that they sing in, or just how good they are, that I'll listen to and be like, oh yeah, okay. So recently I've been listening to Shoshana Bean a lot. I think she's American. I haven't done a lot of research actually on her background. I've been listening to her songs on Spotify, and her voice is just insane.
I've heard her.
And yeah, just like, I love Yebba. Have you ever listened to Yebba?
No. You have to put a list at the end.
Yeah.
Sources.
She has an album coming out. We've all been waiting a really long time for it, but she's just like vocally, she's just ridiculous.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to think who I have. I think at the minute, for some reason, I've been really quite liking Miley Cyrus. I mean, I'm not a Miley Cyrus fan, but her voice is really like, I don't know, something about it, you know, in her new songs, it's just really unique, and it's really like, when listening to her singing that one with Dua Lipa, her voice just shines. Like, totally above it, and listen to it and I'm like, oh, that sounds so good. I wish I could sing like that.
I think this is a whole other podcast we could do, this topic, but Miley is the kind of person that when she was with Disney, she just did what the producers wanted her to do, and she sang in the style that was appropriate for Disney. And I feel like now she's like Miley,
got her own self.
Like she's
kind
her
of little
authentic
country
self.
western, isn't she, as well, which is interesting. But who else? I don't know, you told me or someone told me, but who was it that told me that apparently Christina Aguilera's voice sounds like No, is it the other way around? Britney's voice sounds like Christina Aguilera's voice, because they went to the same school, like, and they were taught by Disney or something like that.
They were both in the Mickey Mouse Club.
It might have been that, but I read that apparently Britney's voice doesn't actually sound like Britney. It's more Christina Aguilera, but obviously because they both came out around the same time, they kind of made her sing a little bit different. But I don't know whether that's a complete...
No, it's true.
Is it?
So there's a video of Britney as a kid,
Right.
literally like singing this huge song.
Yeah.
With like massive thick vibrato and like really belty, like Shirley Bassey. And yeah, basically with Britney, it's another the industry, you know,
just forces them, doesn't it?
yeah, like molding
sound.
someone to be and to sound like what they think is going to sell at the time.
Right.
So Britney was like, it's like youthful innocence.
Yeah.
That's why
baby.
yeah, literally like the
Putting that voice
schoolgirl
on.
uniform, the
yeah.
croaky voice, and it just became her niche. But yeah, but it wasn't how her actual voice sounded, and it's probably why she struggles so much with mental health and her identity and
all you get so far in it, don't you? And then you're like, well, is this actually me, and this is actually what I want, blah blah blah.
Definitely. Yeah, and that's a really interesting topic in itself, actually, how the media kind of influences artists and how they look and sound. And I think Miley Cyrus has done amazing in the fact that now she has just she's just like gone back to her roots. And you can tell because her art, when she sings, you can tell her heart's in it now, and it's like that's her just being her full self. Which it's like what we were saying earlier, like people see through it when you're not authentic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely.
And when you're just up there being you, that's what people fall in love with. And that's you as a fashion designer, me as a singer. Those are the things that we need to do. We need to just be ourselves. Be
inspired, carry on being inspired by everything around us.
And remember what grounds us and what those key things that we believe in are, and not losing them because we think other people might like it if we look or sound a different way.
Yeah, exactly. It's doing what we need to do. And I think that's a big thing, is that because if you're not doing what you want and need to do, then you're just never going to put your full effort into it, and you never you just fall at the first hurdle, I think.
People will always take truth over anything else, I think, definitely. Because that's what they want to connect to. So
I think
I think
our
we've done it again, Amy. We're at 28 minutes, and don't forget we've got our sister.
I did all right there. That was quite interesting. Yeah, enjoyed that. It was good.
Yeah. So, guys, comment what inspires you. We want to know. Do you have videos that if you're feeling a bit low, you press play, and those are the things that ignite the fire? You know, what are your goals? We want to know. Let's have a discussion. Let's open up the conversation.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. And then Ashton will put all the links to the song artists in the comments. Yeah,
definitely. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Yeah, see you next week.
Bye. See